Welcome to War Journal, Flames of War. And this podcast is our thoughts and discussions about the Flames of War games and other related interests. This episode is brought to you by Tracy George and Chaos Magic. We are not claiming to be experts of the game, but just wanted to have a casual conversation about Flames of War. Without any further delay, we now make our advance onto the podcast. And here are your hosts, Tracy and Arthur.
This is Tracy.
And I'm Arthur.
Welcome to War Journal, Flames of War, Episode 9, Panthers in the Field of Fire. What's on tap for today's episode, Arthur?
We have 7 topics. The topics and what they're about are as follows. In More War, we discuss our late war game with different allocation rules. In Front Page News, we discuss a host of things on Battlefront's homepage. In Our Hobby, we discuss the progress of my army. In Keep Your Enemies Close, we discuss my first favorite vehicle. In National Rules, we go over an U.S. Special Rule. In That's New, we test my knowledge on Fields of Fire. In Sun Tzu, we talk about Sun Tzu.
More war!
Really?
Alright, so we just got done playing a late war game. And I was using the 101st Airborne from the Nuts book.
I forget what I was using. It's from Desert Message. I picked it because it had Panthers, a lot of Panthers. And tank escorts. It's the first time I used tank escorts.
So we're going to try, this is going back to trying to do the, instead of putting the dice out for allocating, it's mainly just rolling a bunch of dice to try to save some time.
Yeah.
And in this game, I think once it really happened twice for me, and maybe once or twice for you. So it's hard to say how effective it was.
Yeah, I'm not sure. And I think I can get into this later in Front Page News, but I think we should look at some other ways to try to speed up the game instead of kind of changing it. It's nice to try new things once in a while. But it was like the more I've thought about it, the more various unlikely scenarios, but they might come up that I don't know. It just seems that it's really down on the defender. And then, as we both mentioned, I think throughout both this game, like at the beginning I was frustrated, at the end you was frustrated, and I think getting trying to look for the right words for this. I guess what I'm saying, changing the rules to make things die even quicker kind of frightens me. But I really didn't see it. I didn't really see it in this game, but that's the danger I'm worried about.
Well, we did talk about it, and we kind of went through, and what is if you're allocating hits out, and there's a platoon leader, he's going to have to roll separately. And another thing was, if your tank's shooting its main guns and its machine guns at a unit, all right, and you got 2 hits with the main guns and 2 hits with the machine guns, how are you going to do those saves when you're rolling all the dice? So we kind of talked about you do the big guns first, take out what dies, and then roll the smaller guns against. So that was one thing kind of came up.
It was not only just big guns and small guns. It's big guns and small guns against a unit that's different.
Right. Yep.
Like if it was just all the same things, it wouldn't be a big deal. But since it was like, okay, this is a Jeep, and then you also have an armored vehicle in here, that kind of mix things up.
Which happened when you were shooting my recon unit, which had that Jeep and then the 2 M20s. Yeah. And then also, we still had to watch, okay, this gun can only shoot, it can only see these targets, and this gun can only see these targets, so we were still kind of having to watch that also.
Yeah, and I think in the old system, the biggest things that slow down for rolling dice is like not only allocating out, you need to make clear to your opponent which dice are you rolling for. It's like if since we kind of trust each other, we could probably do it a lot faster. Just saying like, okay, I know which of these are which, so I can just roll them really quick.
Well, you say we trust each other, but no. No, I understand. Yeah,
That's something you can do out in like a tournament or something.
Right. Yeah, I'm kind of, after playing, it's only one game we played it, but on reflection, it did save a little time on this one first shooting or something like that, but after that, it still seemed like you were still allocating out because these can only hit these guys,
I think that's the biggest part that slows the game down in that aspect.
So I don't know if that's saving us any
I don't think it was saved that much.
The one thing I do think that really has saved us time, and I was thinking about it when we were playing because we both kind of got that analysis paralysis. We haven't played for quite a while now.
Yeah.
Because I've been really busy, you've been busy, and other than we had a storm and other things going on that we didn't get to play. So we finally played this game, and it's been what?
About a month and a
About
half,
a month,
2 months.
yeah.
2 months.
And so
Yes.
I think that the clock, I still think the clock is going to make us go quicker. Because it was, you were doing it, and I was doing it. That was the, oh my gosh, do I go over here? Do I go, and it was just that analysis paralysis where if you have the clock going, it's like, okay, I'm going to do this. And I think that's what has really sped the game up for us more than doing what we just did.
I think so. So for our next game, I think I want to do a battle report. But about a game after that, let's bring back the clock.
Okay, we'll get a battle report in.
Extra, extra, read all about it. Battlefront Front Page news.
All right, so we're going to look at Battlefront's front page news, and it looks like they've gone heavy into the Vietnam this week.
Even changed the logo.
Yeah, that's the thing I was going to talk about. Yeah, the logo's not red, it's green with the Vietnam stuff.
Yeah, that's the Vietnam version of the logo. Interesting.
So they updated the Flames of War app. Looks like fixed some stability issues. Yeah, I had a problem. I was trying to read when had a question about the turret turning in the woods. I went to my digital form of the rulebook and it would not search. It searched one page and then didn't go anywhere after that. So I don't know what the deal was there. So I gave up.
Oh, I wondered, like,
Well, I should say, I gave up on looking with the search. I didn't give up, I gave up looking with that search on that.
on 2 or 3 episodes ago, we talked about they had the two new box sets that look interesting, but they didn't have the price on there.
Oh, okay, yes.
Did we ever mention how much that costs?
I can't remember.
I know later on, after the podcast, we did look. I found it. It was in the store, and there was $100 and one was $110.
Oh, yeah. I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't think we mentioned it on the podcast, but we should have. But yeah, they did.
Podcasts or some blogs.
Yeah.
And
on the blogs, hopefully we'll be on there eventually. Either that or on the podcast. But on the blogs, there's a WWPD Ready Play, a guide to speeding up tournament play. In general, he's talking about speeding up how to play the game while out in the tournament. That's what he's talking about. Which is like one of the things like I think we should look at.
Okay.
I actually read it and like he has a list of things, and the first thing is I think is what we need to work on. I thought of too is know your list.
Know your list, yes.
You really need to know your list. Something that should have come to mind, but I never really thought about that he brings up is provide a list. Because we always keep going like,
Oh, that's right.
so like, what is that again? What is that again?
So you can hand a list to the other player.
So instead of always asking, I just look up and like, what can you do?
Okay.
So that's one of the things.
So I did do know your list. I knew what my guys could do.
Yeah.
This one, but I did not provide you with a list.
Yeah, that's something we could do better.
Plan for missions. Whoa.
That's something like if you know the missions ahead of time, or just read through the missions and you're like, okay, this is my list. If I take this mission, what I'm going to do in that mission, how I want to change.
Oh, I didn't think about that. We normally just wait till we roll to see what mission and kind of figure out what we're going to do from there.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a good plan. Okay.
Color dice, we kind of do that.
We do that.
They'll spectate on his turn. Basically, on the other person's turn, try to plan it out ahead.
Okay, I do that. Like, I thought you were not going to move those guys in the woods, and I would have won because you would have been within 4 inches. My recon was up there at the objective, and I thought you weren't going to move those guys, but you recon, or you, I think you stormtroopered them or something.
Yeah,
I'm
okay, I'm really close to losing this, so I better make
Yep.
sure someone's...
Okay, so don't speculate. On the opponent's turn, figure out what you're going to do.
Yeah.
Okay, I kind of do that, but then
Yeah.
there's be decisive. Take a minute at the beginning of your turn to make final decision. Okay. That's kind of where we kind of use the clock, I think, would be decisive. So we try to get done quicker because we do have that.
But overall, I think his list is a very good thing.
I do too.
Decrease playing the game in general, not just for tournaments.
Well, you know, maybe we can take these titles like know your list, provide a list, plan for mission, color dice. Some of these we do.
Yeah.
Don't speculate, be decisive, and ask for help. Maybe we can post it, have it up there while we're playing to kind of remind us.
Yeah.
Another thing I think I need to post up there is what you do on your turn, like you bring in ambushes, call in the plane. Instead of that thing we've been handing back and forth, have it up there where it's visible.
Yeah, the order of operation
Yep.
for the turn at the beginning of turn checks. Yeah, we need that.
Yep.
But,
And Battlefront's wanting some sculptors.
Yeah. I do want to call out to
Yes.
Dirty John for making that list, or making that...
Dirty John? Or was it Phil?
Or
Oh, it's Dirty John, but it has a picture of Steven. That's who it is. I'm thinking about Steven.
Oh, yeah. Dirty John made that speeding up the tournament play, so I just want to mention that.
Slow play makes Steven sad.
Okay, back to the front page.
Okay, so I think there's really not much more except for we're going to question of the week, which we have 72, which we already answered, and we got 2 new ones, which were 73 and 74.
Okay. So,
All right, so let's go to the one we've already answered, which is number 72.
so what's that? What answers did we give?
Let's see. The question is, an artillery battery uses direct fire on an infantry platoon holed up in a building. The 105 millimeter guns are rated as breakthrough guns. The guns score 1 hit. What happens next? And we had A, B, C, D. I don't think I want to go through all these choices again. Okay, you said C. No, I said C. C is the guns must pass a firepower test to destroy 1 team.
Yeah.
You said A, 1 team is automatically destroyed.
Because I've assumed that these guns are a 1+ firepower test. That's the reason why I said it.
Okay, so, and I contacted you later and found out my priest, which are breakthrough guns, was like a 3 or 4+.
Or it was a 2+.
Yeah. So the correct answer is C. And you explained why you thought that. So, otherwise, if you wouldn't have thought it, if you knew that it's not a 1+, I think you probably would have chose what I chose. So just only reason they have to do that firepower test because they're in bulletproof cover.
Yeah.
All right, so we did pretty good on that one. Okay, so now we're heading to new questions. All right. Well, this one's short and sweet. This is number 73, priority target. So the question is, can you nominate a priority target type in an assault? Yes or no?
I say yes.
I'm going to say yes also. So I'll put you down as yes and me as yes. R is R. I'm a pirate. Oh, the answer is down there. And the correct answer is yes. Woohoo! All right. Now, number 74. Okay, so this got a little bit of lengthy introduction, and it did throw me a little bit about this question because of the type of tank it is. I forgot about this type of tank. Okay, so a platoon of American lead tanks fires all of their turret-mounted main guns at a German infantry platoon. Their hull-mounted main guns are used to fire on a nearby anti-tank gun platoon. And this is what was throwing us because we thought, wait, if this tank's shooting its weapons, has to shoot all of its weapons at this target, where this tank in this platoon can choose a different target. This tank's a little different. Each one of its main guns can choose a different target. So that's what was throwing us at first. And so this one kind of breaks the rules. So it's legal. So 1 gun shot at the infantry and 1 gun shot at the anti-tank guns. The infantry and anti-tank gun platoons are not within 8 inches of each other. The lead platoon has a team within 4 inches of both enemy platoons. Which platoon may be assaulted during the following assault step? Okay, so we have A, the infantry platoon, B, the anti-tank gun platoon, C, both platoons.
I'm so not sure.
I'm going to put my guess down. So I've got my choice there.
I almost want to roll a die. I'm going to go with C.
That's what I put. Because it's shot at both of them, and they're both within 4 inches of it. I just don't... But there's a thing about when you assault. I thought you can only assault one platoon.
So,
No
yeah.
way. Can you assault multiple? No, you can assault multiple platoons.
I think you only assault one platoon, but if you get in contact... I think there's some kind of rules, like if there are multiple platoons close to each other, and there's no way to assault one without assaulting the other, you count assaulting both. Okay. Or I might be confusing my...
Yeah, I'm totally confused on this one. I'm not sure on this one. I'm going to say both. We both say both.
Yeah.
So
I was going to say something else about, I realized they're both main guns, so
I don't think it matters if main gun or not. It's just you shoot who you assault who you shot at. But I don't see why they couldn't assault the anti-tank gun. Why could they only assault the infantry platoon? Why could they only assault the anti-tank platoon? Why? That's what gets me on this. That's why I'm thinking I'm eliminating the ones that I think, wait, you can assault either one, so it shouldn't be a choice of this or this one. So I'm going to take those two out. What's left?
Unless
Both.
If you have the option of shooting two different things, it might be some kind of rule that you have to assault one of them, like the one that the whole mounted gun shot at.
I don't know. I don't run Lees, and you don't run Lees. We've never ran against Lees, so we're both kind of... This is almost like that recoilless rifle thing. We're kind of like,
Yeah, I have no idea. And the thing with that one is, as soon as the podcast was over, okay, I'm going to make my list for the next time we play. Open the book, and I had optional recoil guns. Oh, here's the rules for it. Oh, wow. Wish I saw that 6 hours ago.
Well, I can guarantee you on this one, I'm not going to be playing Lees, so we're not going to have that coming up.
Oh, American League.
Yeah. Which I think British used early in the war also. And it's kind of like this was the thing before Shermans were coming over. They kind of just built these as a gap between the old tanks they had and the Shermans that were coming.
So it's like a early war tank?
Yeah. All right, so we'll see next time how we did.
Our hobby.
All right, I don't really have much for our hobby. I've just been so busy with work and trying to get some other stuff that hopefully I can talk about in a couple months what's going on with that. So I haven't really done anything with my army, but I saw you had some new stuff on the table today.
Yes, I finally started putting some things together. I've partially put together my Jaeger Tiger, which it's still got a ways to go. There's a lot of, not rules, but the instructions to how to put those together. There's a lot to there. And the next thing I need to put on is the mud guards. And I'm trying to look okay, which one of these are the mud guards? How I'm supposed to put them on, and also mention if there's a gap, I'm supposed to use some green stuff
Right.
So that could be a pain. The whirlwinds also I was working on, and that's mostly done.
But hold on, I don't know, how come you decapitated your guys? Because I noticed they didn't have any heads.
Yes, I didn't put on the heads. I need to put on. I have the heads at home. I need to trim up. Head to the bottles. I need to trim them up, and then I have to put them in, and then I have to glue the guns on.
Well, you did have some guns glued on, the ones I saw. I saw the 4.
They're not glued in.
Oh, you tricked me.
They glued together, but I had to place them in.
You were tricking me.
Yeah, the guns actually come out, so I can glue them, put them in. I want to put them the heads in first, because
right.
that's room. Other than that, it's the tracks. So, but since I could just put on, the tracks are fairly easy to put together, I want to prime and paint it.
Oh, yeah, because that does, like when I did my tanks, I first put everything together and painted. I was like, no, I should have just kept the tracks off.
Yeah.
I could have painted the tanks fine.
Yeah.
And had the guns on there because that's no big deal, like the machine guns.
Yeah.
But those tracks, I learned my lesson. Just like you're ahead of the game compared to what I was.
Yeah, because I did that with the first tank I put together, and I realized it would be so much easier. But I couldn't do that for the Jaeger Tiger because it has fenders to go over the tracks.
Oh.
And that's kind of like the first thing I had to put on. So I'm like, well, that kind of sucks. And especially since like the fenders is like probably about 2 or 3, 4 pieces.
Really?
Because like I have part of the fenders on now, and then there's the part that goes on front, and then the part that goes on back.
So wait, so you're saying like there's I'm trying to picture this in my head. So there's a flat top part.
Yeah, I'll put that on.
Then there's the 2 ends that kind of round down.
Yeah.
Now is there like a side piece that goes over the wheels?
Put in the track, and then I'll put on like a piece of metal that hangs over the track.
Okay.
And then on the front of the tank, there's another piece that
curves down.
And then the same in the back.
So is it 3 or 4 pieces?
It's 2 pieces per side.
I mean, I'm thinking just one side. So it's really 3 pieces then, right? It's the top
3
part and then the 2 curved?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, 3 pieces per side.
Okay.
So yeah, that would be just too much trying to put together after everything else. So
Yeah.
I've got to put the Jaeger Tiger together. But yeah, the whirlwind actually assembled fairly quickly. Once I had figured out how to put it together, because Battlefront doesn't have instructions on the website how to put it together.
Wow.
Not at all. And if I had to try to figure it out on my own, I probably would have screwed up the first one. But I did find a blog that kind of told me how to do it. I had to read it about 2 or 3 times. And the main thing is putting the guns together because I need to figure out the orientation on the middle piece.
Okay.
And he told figure out how you're supposed to put it on there. Didn't quite seem right to me until I actually fit it in and like, oh, it's listed right there.
Okay.
Okay, if this goes here, then I know the guns go the opposite direction, and I have an angle up and glue them in. And then that made everything else go really fast. So if I go on my current page in about 2 or 3 days, I should have both whirlwinds together and then the Jaeger Tiger. And I wanted to use those for the battle report we're going to do.
Yeah, you haven't been in any of my battle reports yet.
No, I haven't. So
Because it would be maybe a lot of proxying at first, but you're starting to get there now. So
yeah, I have a list I like. Though it still has some studs in it, but that helped to raise some points. So I'll be using them as studs.
I like studs though. All right, so I think that's it.
Yeah.
Keep your allies close, but keep your enemies closer.
All right, Arthur, it is your week to tell us about something from Germany. It could be infantry, tank, or something. What do you got this time?
I think this time I want to talk about my original favorite tank, the Panther A. When I first got into Flames of War and looking through all the variable vehicles I could use, I quickly found a liking for the Panther because it was like a mix between the light tanks and the heavy tanks. It's like, in some ways it was like a heavy tank, but it moved around like a light tank. So, I'm going to start talking about the Panther.
Okay.
The Panther is a standard tank, so it moves 12 and has all those rules. It has a 32-inch gun, or its gun shoots 32 inches.
Okay.
Has a front of 10, side of 5, and a top of 1.
Okay.
Rate of fire 2, anti-tank of 14, and firepower 3+. For the longest time, the anti-tank, that was one of the highest anti-tanks I've seen. So that's why I quickly started liking the tank. In addition, it has a coaxial machine gun, a Hallmark machine gun, and it also has like the rule wide tracks, which I never really remember until our last battle.
Oh yeah, that did. But you still failed that.
I still failed that.
Which could happen. I mean,
Which could happen, and I could have used the rule earlier, but that's beside the point. So, the Panthers in a lot of lists. There's a lot of lists, and the one I used in our last battle, I had 7 Panthers.
yeah.
So for the quality of tank, that's a lot. Plus, I also had tank escorts, but that's something different. That's something extra, I believe. So I could just take the tanks, and probably could have brought in like maybe 1 or 2 more. So for its firepower and durability, it's a really good tank.
Mm-hmm. Well, I was kind of wanting to bring this up. I got the Pershing, which they said is very similar. So I kind of want to do a compare and contrast between the Panther and the Pershing that came out. So we kind of could see how they're, so we kind of learn how they're like. Because when I was playing against your Panthers, I was going, okay, the Pershing's got this. So it's going to be very similar to Pershing. So I knew what I could do against it.
I see.
Okay, so both of them are standard tank. And you had 10 front? Yep, same here. What was your side?
5.
Okay, I'm a 6. One little better. So I got a Sherman front armor. Sherman M4A1 on the side.
Wow. And top 1.
2.
Oh wow. Yeah, I think you're sturdier. But I think the Persian came out much later.
Yeah, I did. It was towards the very, very end of the war. It really saw action when we were heading towards the Rhine.
I'm seeing rate of fire 2.
Yep, at 32 inches, yep.
What's your range attack?
14.
Same?
I thought I got you on that one. 3+.
Yep. So,
Smoke?
I'm Germany. I know I have some things with smoke, but not much.
Okay, so I get smoke. So I've got one better side, one better top, and I get smoke. Now,
What guns do you have?
that's I got the normal American Sherman. I got 3 machine guns. The hull, the coaxial, and the anti-aircraft, 50 caliber.
Okay, I don't have the anti-aircraft.
Now I do not have wide tracks.
And now that I know what that rule is, I should be more lenient about having them to go through terrain.
I do have tank telephone.
I do not have that.
So now one thing we're going to kind of compare the price here. What are you guys rated at?
And this list is confident train. Do you have a confident train?
No, I got one. I'm allowed one list that has these really.
Oh.
And I am confident veteran. All right, so what we did was we stopped and we found a German list that's got the Panthers in it. That is the same rating, confident veteran. And so the minimum you can get is 3.
3 in this list, 3 to 5.
Okay, and I can go from 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. So we're going to compare the same numbers. So I've got 3 Pershings, and you get 3 Panthers. So I am 595 points.
For 3?
For 3.
I'm 560 for 3.
That's pretty close. So you get wide tracks, but I get the smoke and tank telephone. And how many machine guns did you have?
And you have an extra gun.
I have an extra machine gun.
Did
you have an AA machine gun?
No.
Ooh, that could be big. Okay, so for 4, so 595, so that's like about 30 points.
Yeah.
So it's about 10 points per tank.
Yeah.
That's what we're looking at. So with 4, can you get 4?
Yep.
Okay, I get 790.
I'm 750.
So 4 is still 10 points.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to guess. Okay. So with 5 of them, I'm 985. So taking off 50, you should be 935?
40.
Oh, so you get a little discount.
Yeah.
You get a little discount.
No.
So I'm a little more expensive.
Yeah, I think the Persian is a better deal. But like, how many can you take?
Let me go back and check. How many units?
Yeah, how many platoons can you take of Persians? And can you take?
Because I don't have the book. I'm having to do this on a Forces War. I could take 1 platoon. One platoon, that's it. Where you were running around with 3, I think, today.
Yeah.
Plus your HQ and second in command.
Yeah,
First,
like
second.
most of my list with Panthers is like I could take as a HQ and then 2 minimum platoons, and I could usually take another one if I wanted. So if I really wanted to, I could load up on a lot of Panthers.
Now, the other, well, this is kind of your section, but when we were doing the comparison. Now, I can take those 1 to 5, or I could take one Super Pershing for 275 points, which is a nasty tank.
Yeah.
So yeah, I have limited options compared to what you've got.
Yeah. So I wonder I guess there was probably just way more Panthers in the war.
Yeah.
So I just have way more options to get that. So.
Yeah, I have it in one list, pretty much. And do I want 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 Pershings, regular Pershings, or 1 Super Pershing?
That's a hard choice.
It is. I normally do the Super Pershing because otherwise I want to run 3 Pershings, and that's the points get up there a little bit.
Yeah.
All
But
right.
yeah, the Super Pershing is like compared to my Jaeger Panther or
So
Tiger. Yeah.
now I know that I got a little better armor on the side and top, so I'm kind of keeping this in mind. You got wide tracks
Yeah.
and 1 less machine gun.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they're the same.
Yeah.
All right.
This is your in-depth reporter, Tiger Sherman, from Military Times News, and our continuing coverage of national tactics.
All right, for today's national rule, we're going to do another USA special rule, and that is stabilizers,
Okay.
which Sherman's get, and I think maybe the Stuarts and some other USA tanks get. And basic,
Is it all Shermans?
no,
Wow.
I don't think the Jumbo gets it, and I don't think I'm not sure about the early. Boy, now that you say that, now you're going to have me look it up, Arthur. So I'm just going to get the blood, guts, and glory. Just look really, really quick. Stabilizer, 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 stabilizer. It looks like everybody gets it. Even the Jumbo. I didn't think Jumbo did, but they do.
Well, I hope the Jumbo did, because you
Now that I think about it, yeah, they do. I think there was some. I think there was like one, like in the Remogin book. I think if you upgrade or do something with that Sherman, it doesn't get it. All right. So what do stabilizers do? Well, basically, if you move your tank, normally if you move your tank, your rate of fire goes down. So normally from 2 shots to 1 shot. What I can do is I can keep those 2 shots, but it's 1 more difficult to hit the target. So the rating goes higher. So if I normally needed 4s to hit you, I could take 1 shot for 4s, or 2 shots and I need 5s to hit you. And today you're using trained. So yeah, I started try to use the stabilizers more because it was you start off at 3s. Well, now I just need 4s instead of 1 die for 3 or 2 dice for 4. I'll take the 2 dice for 4. So that's what it does. It just allows you to keep your full rate of fire even if you move. Now there is one other tank that kind of twists the rule of stabilizer, and that's the Easy 8 with what's called smooth ride. And basically, if the Easy 8 moves only 6 inches or less and doesn't go through any difficult terrain, goes through, enter through, or leaves or whatever, any difficult terrain, and only moves up to 6 inches, I can still get my full rate of fire without the +1.
Yeah, you surprised me with that a couple times. He was like, what?
Yeah. It does slow the Easy 8 down, but gosh, move 6. If it's with the Jumbo, well, the Jumbo is only moving 8 to begin with. So you put a couple of those with the Jumbo, and the Jumbo's protecting them. Well, the Jumbo's going to move 8. They're going to move 6. So you're not losing much there. I was just trying to see. Oh yeah, this is another thing about the Easy 8 also. Its anti-tank is 13 compared to normal Sherman's 10.
Wow.
But they do get expensive. So that is the national rule.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to cover this time because it did come up today.
Yeah, and I still, like, I know you got confused because I'm proxying. Still, all your tanks look alike to me.
Well, it confused the Germans too. It's like,
Yeah.
is that a jumbo? Is that? They just started looking at the barrel lengths on some of them, you know.
Oh yeah, which is one of the things I thought about starting doing. It's like I don't even know what that thing. Well, I got a pretty long barrel. So.
I might start proxying so you'll have trouble.
You don't even need to do that.
That's new.
All right, so some of the stuff I'm probably going to go over like I did last week or last time and this time. All this more just come maybe review, but it's always good to review some of these things. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to call field of fire, so the direction your guys can shoot. Okay, so we've got a turreted tank. Its main gun. Which direction would it be its field of fire?
Turret gun is 360.
Yeah,
You could
shoot all the way
turn around.
Woohoo! Good job. Okay, we've got a hole-mounted. So I threw a stug out there. So we got this hole-mounted gun. What is its field of fire?
It's like it's front arc, and you could and where you shoot at, you have to turn the tank to face it.
Yeah. So draw a line across the front of the tank. Anything in front of it across that line, going on forever on each side up to its range. So it's not really. It's like a half circle.
Okay, yeah. It's Flames of War is kind of weird compared to other games, and I'm trying to okay, Flames of War is a weird, but also far more simpler.
Yeah.
But,
All right. So let's go with an infantry team. So we got a German infantry team there. What is their field of fire?
Same thing. It's just except for they don't have to turn to face what they shoot at.
So what's
Same as a hull-mounted vehicle.
they're the same as a turret. They got 360 field of fire.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So now
right.
we got a Panzerschreck. I think this is Panzerschreck. This big anti-German Panzerschreck platoon or team here. What is their field of fire?
Will they also be 360?
It'd be 360. All right. Then I've got a Pack 40 gun team. What would be their field of fire?
The front.
Yeah.
Front.
So just like the hole mount. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the turreted tank with the infantry and the Panzerschreck together. The hole mounted and the gun teams are together. So we got these two different sections.
Of course, for the tank, it's only the main gun. The hull-mounted machine gun is still only.
Woo, good job,
Right.
Arthur. All right, so now we've got a machine gun team. What would be their field of fire?
The question is, do they say 360?
They would be considered like a hole mounted. They're a gun team, even though they're man-packed gun team.
Okay.
So their field of fire is in the front. Now, here comes the trick questions. Is there a possible way that a gun team like this Pack 40 could have 360-degree shooting?
It was in like a nest, or is that what they call it? Like a gun nest?
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I think you're right. I think it's called like a gun nest, something like this.
Yeah.
No. There's two ways. One way is if the gun says turntable.
Oh.
Then it's just like a turreted mounted weapon. It's
Yeah.
360. If it doesn't, these guys can shoot as rifles. Then you do get the 360-degree shooting.
Oh.
Okay, so with that in mind, we are going back to the machine gun team, which is another gun team. So is there a way that they can get 360-degree shooting?
I guess if they shoot as rifles.
You're right.
I didn't know about the shooting as rifles, but yeah, that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, so if like somebody's sneaking around the backside of your guns to assault you, well, you can still get defensive fire. Now, if you have turntable, you can. But the way to do it is you just have to shoot them as rifles. And sometimes people may not understand it. Like machine guns, mortars, the man-packed, they're not a 360 degree.
I don't know why I forgot they were Infantry was 360.
Well, that's why we review, because I was going through, it's like, oh, you know what? I forgot about some of this stuff too.
All right, soldier, you will shape up and you will listen, because we are now going to talk about Sun Tzu and the art of war. Attention!
All right, continuing our talk about Sun Tzu, and we're still in terrain, which I think we'll this one, and maybe we'll finish up next time. Maybe not; it'll be close. But this has been a very interesting chapter. I'll say that. So we're starting at 20 now, and 20 says these are 6 ways of courting defeat, which must be carefully noted by the general who has attained a responsible post. And
this should have went with the last set.
Yeah.
But
because we looked at it as like, what do they mean? What's 6 ways? And then realized it was what we just got done talking about the last couple of podcasts.
So but basically it means like if you have a command, you need to look at 6 different ways to how you can lose and study them.
Well, one of the notes I've got, they kind of go through the 6, so I'll kind of just to recap it for everybody. So 1 is neglect to estimate the enemy's strength. 2, want of authority, and that's the one where he was wishy-washy on leading the men, so the men weren't respecting him and following. 3, defective training. That's where you didn't have discipline with the troops. 4, unjustifiable anger, and that's where we talk about making the other players mad. If they get mad, make them madder. 5, non-observance of discipline. And 6, failure to use picked men. So know which men you need for this mission. So that should have gone with, and I could have kind of closed that sub-chapter off for us. All right, so moving on. Number 21. The natural formation of the country is a soldier's best ally, but a power of estimating the adversary, of controlling the forces of victory, and of shrewdly calculating difficulties, dangers, and distances constitutes the test of a great general. So kind of what I get from that is, you can control the terrain, but if you're not taking care of these other things, the terrain that's part of it, but that's not going to help you win.
It's like, pretty much like learn how to use terrain is good, but that will just make you a good for your soldier. If you want to win, then a great general needs all this other stuff.
Yeah. All right, so number 22. He who knows these things, and in fighting puts his knowledge into practice, will win his battles. He who knows them not, nor practices them, will surely be defeated. And I really do think that came into play today because I really messed up on some tactics because I haven't played for like a month and a half. And it was like after this, like, why did I shoot at your Panthers with my Shermans? Why you? Of course, they look like studs, but still, I was like, okay, their front armor's 10, my anti-tank is 10. Why? I should be shooting at your guns, your artillery, or your infantry, so I can try to take the objective. So and then the other one was when I brought out my tank destroyers. I didn't go after that platoon of 2 tanks. One was bogged down, and the other one was out there. No, I went after the Panther. Well, they were all Panthers, but I went after that one by itself, and I should have...
The second command.
Yeah. I don't know, I was trying to get over to the objective.
Yeah.
So I could put pressure on the objective. And you would have had to move up 6 inches, but it wouldn't be better for me just to sit there. So this goes to that, because I've been playing for a while, I didn't put this stuff into practice, like I have been.
And not only just putting it into practice, it's just, even if you know these things, but if people are like, I already know that, but if you don't use it, then it still doesn't help. You're still going to lose.
and that did happen. All right. Number 23. If fighting is sure to result in victory, then you must fight, even though the ruler forbid it. If fighting will not result in victory, then you must not fight, even at the ruler's bidding. This is a tough one. Now, I mean, in real life, this is a tough one because if they say, hey, don't attack these guys. Because you may not know some other plan that they're going to try to draw him off in this direction. If you start fighting him, it's going to totally blow, through.
Yeah.
But I kind of see where he's coming from. Like, well, why not take him out? But this is kind of a tricky situation. Because you don't know the whole situation. If you're a leader on the battlefield, sometimes you don't know the whole situation.
Yeah, that is tricky.
Like Patton knew part of what was going on, but he may not have seen the whole big picture type thing.
But you couldn't just win this one battle and take him out.
Right, which he did. He's like, wait, they're telling me not to cross the river because they want Monty. No, I'm going to cross the river. I'm here. So he went on and beat Monty across the river and stuff, and Monty's like mad. But another thing I was thinking about was if fighting will not result in victory, then you must not fight even at the ruler's bidding. And the one thing I think I can remember about this was watching the movie Desert Fox, which Rommel was like, he doesn't want us to retreat. We have no way of winning. He's saying we need to retreat, but we're not supposed to retreat a millimeter.
Yeah, I'm going to watch that movie either tonight or tomorrow night.
So I kind of picture what he was doing there, because there's times he disobeyed orders, and there was times where on the desert campaign, he went on the offensive he wasn't supposed to. Then he got awarded for doing it.
Also reminds me of Band of Brothers, when it's like they did the first raid into the night, and then they lost a guy and didn't seem to get much. And the superiors loved it. Like, do it again.
Yeah.
And then he was telling the men, like, well, you did such a wonderful job. They want you to do it again. And since everything is gone here, you have to go even deeper in there. So this is your orders. This is what you're going to. That's the plan. Now in the morning, tell me you did that. Did to see these soldiers.
Yeah, have a good night's sleep. They're like, what? We're not a good night's sleep. We're going to go out there.
And tell me we're sorry, but we didn't have any hostages.
All right, so we will continue with terrain on number what number next time?
24.
24 next time. Well, that wraps up another episode of War Journal, Flames of War. Your host, Arthur and Tracy, thank you for listening to this episode. You can find us on iTunes. If you like the episode, please subscribe and leave a positive review. You can find us on Facebook at Flames of War. And please like us. In addition, you can follow us on Twitter at warjournal_FOW. You can also find us on YouTube. Search for Tracy George, Flames of War. You can read Arthur's blog at chaosmagicwizards.blogspot.com. Finally, you can email us at warjournalflamesofwar@gmail.com. War Journal Flames of War is all one word, so no spaces are required. Also, please share the show on any social media of your choice. So, until next time, as always, have a good game.